Is there anything that could be done for the president to give him some sort of solace, which in some ways would be better for the rest of us?
It's an awful answer, and I hate saying it, but I think the answer is no. Partially because it's extremely difficult to help somebody who's not aware he needs help. I think at this point in his life, it would be impossible for Donald to admit to any kind of weakness or incapacity that needs to be addressed. He also, unfortunately, seems to be surrounded by people who are perfectly happy having him behave the way he behaves.
Imagine being roasted by a late-night comedian while your own family member psychoanalyzes you in front of millions. That's exactly what happened when Stephen Colbert and Mary Trump joined forces. Colbert's jokes cut like a scalpel, slicing Trump's ego to shreds, while Mary, his own niece, exposed his deepest insecurities and childhood wounds. Together, they didn't just humiliate him, they dismantled the myth he built around himself. This wasn't comedy. This wasn't family drama. This was a live television demolition of a former president who thrives on control, but suddenly found himself powerless. Stay tuned, because what they revealed left Trump furious, his supporters shaken, and the audience cheering for more.
Now, for the next 10 months, the gloves are off. I can finally speak unvarnished truth to power and say what I really think about Donald Trump, starting right now. I don't care for him. Doesn't seem to have the skill set. Doesn't have the skill set to be president. Just not a good fit, that's all.
What happens when comedy collides with psychology? When late-night satire meets inside family knowledge? You get Stephen Colbert and Mary Trump teaming up on live television to expose Donald Trump in ways no one has ever dared. Colbert mocked his lies, Mary dissected his mind, and the result was a televised takedown that stripped away every layer of Trump's carefully built persona. For a man who fears irrelevance more than anything, this was a nightmare come true. Because when your enemies are this funny and this close to the truth, you can't fight back. You can only watch as the crowd laughs while your secrets spill out.
Donald, he didn't have to try very hard. And the other problem is when money is the only currency in your family, there's never enough of it, because it can never take the place of things that really matter.
You get that sense from the president. And again, I don't know the man intimately. I've met him a few times, and certainly I've studied his behavior, is that he is always seeking the validation. And no matter what it is, when he opens the wrapper of it, it's always empty. It's never satisfying for him, whether it's the presidency itself, or a military parade, or the praise from every person he meets.
Donald Trump has always believed he's untouchable. But last night, two people proved him wrong. Stephen Colbert, the late-night comic who never holds back, and Mary Trump, the niece who knows him best, teamed up on live TV to rip open his armor. Colbert with punchlines that left the audience roaring. Mary with chilling revelations about his childhood, his fragile ego, and his desperate need for approval. It wasn't just entertainment, it was a psychological unmasking. And what made it worse? Trump couldn't stop watching. Tonight, we break down exactly how Colbert and Mary destroyed his image piece by piece, and why this moment will haunt him for months.
Since the dawn of the nuclear era, all presidents, I believe, have had too much power. But clearly, for Donald Trump, no amount of power is too much. Apparently, the next step in his White House remodel is going to be a skull-shaped castle. Because yesterday, Donald Trump made a hard right onto the fascism freeway, announcing that he will deploy National Guard troops to Chicago.
They say no enemy can hurt you as deeply as your own family. And for Donald Trump, that truth exploded on live television. Stephen Colbert brought the laughs, but Mary Trump brought the knives, revealing family secrets that shattered Trump's carefully crafted image of power. Together, they exposed him not just as a failed leader, but as a broken man driven by insecurity. This was more than comedy. This was a televised autopsy of Trump's myth. And the scariest part for him? Millions of people saw it unfold in real time. Tonight, We take you inside the most brutal public takedown Trump has ever faced.
As I am not Donald Trump. That guy has got a lot of problems. First of all, the Jeffrey Epstein scandal just won't kill itself. And we might have a hint why Trump hasn't been that eager to release those files, because in March, 1,000 FBI agents were put on 24-hour shifts to review approximately 100,000 Epstein-related records and instructed to flag any documents that mentioned Donald Trump.
What do you get when the nation's sharpest satirist joins forces with Donald Trump's own family psychologist? You get a demolition so complete, Trump's reputation may never recover. Stephen Colbert roasted his failures with award-winning comedy. Mary Trump revealed the dark psychology that fuels his behavior. Together, they stripped him bare, turning him into a punchline and a case study at the same time. This wasn't politics. This was personal. For Trump, it was the ultimate humiliation, mocked by a comedian, exposed by blood, and left powerless on live TV. And the fallout? It's only just beginning.
The president went on, I hear Jimmy Kimmel is next. Nope, no, absolutely not Kimmel. I am the martyr, okay? Okay, there's only room for one on this cross, and I gotta tell you, the view is fantastic from up here. I can see your house.
For years, Donald Trump has survived scandals, lawsuits, and late-night jokes. But this time, it's different. This time, it's family. Stephen Colbert turned Trump's chaos into comedy gold. Mary Trump turned it into a psychological diagnosis. And when their voices came together on live television, Trump wasn't just mocked, it was revealed. His secrets, his fears, his lies, all laid bare before millions. The man who wants to be remembered as a titan looked instead like a child, desperate for validation. And the scariest part for him? Every word rang true. Tonight, we unpack how Colbert and Mary destroyed Trump's armor once and for all.
I was shocked to learn that this weekend, the biggest story was frenzied social media rumors speculating whether Donald Trump had died. For the record, Donald Trump is very much alive, okay? And no, we like our presidents alive. Donald Trump is very much alive, and this whole crazy rumor started simply because...
It's not every day you watch a former president get dismantled in real time. But when Stephen Colbert and Mary Trump teamed up, that's exactly what happened. Colbert brought the jokes that stung like punches. Mary Trump brought the psychological truth bombs only family can deliver. Together, they ripped apart Trump's public image, and he couldn't do a thing to stop it. This wasn't politics. This was humiliation on the world stage. And for a man addicted to applause, nothing hurts more than hearing the crowd cheer for your critics. Tonight, we show you exactly how Colbert and Mary left Trump cornered and exposed.
Because Trump had 0 events on his schedule Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, and one of the only signs that he might still be around was music in the Rose Garden, which the White House confirmed was the president's music.
Donald Trump loves control. But last night he lost it. Stephen Colbert turned his scandals into punchlines. Mary Trump exposed the psychology behind his rage. And together, they tore down the strongman image Trump has spent decades building. The result wasn't just comedy, it was revelation. A portrait of a man who can't stop sabotaging himself, who lashes out at critics but only makes their words louder. This was more than late-night entertainment. It was a public stripping away of power, ego, and myth. And for Trump, the damage may be permanent.
Morbid speculation. On Thursday, Vice President J.D. Vance spoke to the USA Today, and here's how he answered the question, are you ready to assume the role of Commander-in-Chief if needed?
The president is in incredibly good health. He's got incredible energy. And while most of the people who work around the President of the United States are younger than he is, I think that we find that he actually is the last person who goes to sleep. He's the last person making phone calls at night.
Okay.
They mocked him, they exposed him, and they left him with nowhere to hide. Stephen Colbert and Mary Trump didn't just criticize Donald Trump on live TV, they destroyed the very foundation of his public image. Colbert turned his failures into viral jokes. Mary revealed the wounded child behind the bluster. Together, they made him small. And for Trump, who thrives on appearing larger than life, that is the ultimate humiliation. Tonight, we reveal how this one-two punch of comedy and psychology landed harder than any political attack he's ever faced.
Trump posted, "I absolutely love that Colbert got fired. His talent was even less than his ratings."
If laughter is the best medicine, then for Donald Trump, it's also the most painful weapon. Stephen Colbert wielded it like a sword. Mary Trump wielded family secrets like a scalpel. On live television, they cut him down, exposing the insecurities he's spent his life hiding. This wasn't just a roast. It was a public unmasking, a demolition that left Trump seething. And the irony? He handed them the power by reacting, amplifying their words, and proving them right. Tonight, we take you inside the takedown that showed Trump at his weakest and Colbert and Mary at their strongest.
Call him what he is. He's a loser. He loses constantly. He has never legitimately won anything in his life. He's a thin-skinned baby who has nothing to offer but white grievance. If I were one of these candidates, I would simply show up to a debate with a bowl of mashed potatoes, because that was his very first experience of humiliation was when he was being a total brat before my grandmother put dinner on the table. And my dad, just in order to shut him up and stop him from tormenting his little brother Robert, took a bowl of mashed potatoes and dumped it on Donald's head.
Every strong man has a weakness. For Donald Trump, it's laughter and family. Last night, Stephen Colbert and Mary Trump used both to bring him down. Colbert's punchlines drew thunderous applause. Mary's revelations drew chilling silence. Together, they painted a portrait of a man consumed by insecurity, obsessed with validation, and terrified of irrelevance. And the best part? He can't ignore them. His every outburst only makes their words louder. Tonight, we break down how comedy and family combine to strip Trump of the one thing he values most: control over his own image.
Trump made the announcement during an Oval Office event yesterday where he added insult to invasion.
Chicago is a hellhole right now.
How dare you, sir? Chicago is not a hellhole right now. Chicago is not a hellhole until February. Then it is a sub-zero windswept vista of frozen Lake Michigan.
Imagine your worst critic roasting you in front of millions while your own family member exposes your darkest secrets. That's what Donald Trump faced when Stephen Colbert and Mary Trump teamed up on live TV.
Last night, Trump held a rally in my home state of South Carolina. He was completely off prompter. I'm sorry, I meant to say off his meds. Trump started out by slamming the state's former governor, Mark Sanford, who famously disappeared in 2009 to visit his mistress in Argentina, but claimed he was hiking the Appalachian Trail.
Never liked him too much. I wasn't a big fan. The Tallahassee Trail must be a beautiful place. Unfortunately, he didn't go there.
You're right, he didn't go there.
Colbert's satire mocked his failures. Mary's analysis revealed his deepest fears. And together, they didn't just humiliate him, they revealed him. The Titan turned tantrum. The giant turned punchline. The president turned patient in a family case study. For Trump, this was more than an insult. It was a nightmare. And for us, it was a moment of truth too powerful to ignore.